Well, sir, thank you for joining me here on Smoke World Podcast. Appreciate you coming out. We're here at Cigar Sessions. Can you tell us, first of all, who you are and what you got going on here today?
Thank you very much for being on. My name is Travis Pappenheim. I'm the National Education Manager with Altadis USA. And today we're out here doing some experimenting, believe it or not. We're actually looking at the 7 most widely used wrapper leaves in the industry. Now, you may think about that and go, what does he mean? Well, if you think about your cigars, you're really smoking it for the flavor and the experience. So I put together a kit that really breaks down the 7 most widely used wrapper leaves that we use in the industry. Really the flavor profiles, what you get to experience with them, and we're bringing it to these fine folks out here today.
Nice. Okay, so how long have you been with the company, sir?
I've been with the company for 15 years. I've
Okay.
been a lover of tobacco for 26.
All right, now you have an interesting story. So when you started with the company, you didn't start in the position you started as you are now. You
No.
started off doing something completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why don't you share a little bit of that history?
Well, it really came down to I was a lover of the leaf. I really had an appreciation and love for what tobacco was. So I had the fortunate and the gift of being able to get into this industry about 16 years ago with a little company, shall be nameless, because they're no longer around. But I did find that I really love this tobacco, and I became a sales rep with our company. Really just going around from Canada to Mexico, covering the mountain time zone, a little bit of central, a little bit of west, selling our fine products of Monte Cristo, Romeo, H. Upmann, and Aging Room.
Nice. And you say you've been smoking cigars now. How long now? How long have you been loving this leaf?
About 26 years.
26 years. And where you originally from? You got a little twang with you. Where you originally from? What's your original background? Give a little pedigree on that.
Washington State. Born and
Washington.
raised. Grew up around the farms. And then I moved to Vegas. Then I moved to Colorado. And I was fortunate enough, once I became the National Education Manager with our company, I then had to move to Florida, where our corporate office is located.
Okay, so the National Education Officer. Exactly what is that? That sounds I like that title. Obviously, you educate folks.
It's a really big title, isn't it?
That's pretty.
It just means I'm the biggest cigar nerd in our company. Am I high or am I live?
Live, baby. Live on Living Color.
Hey, we got them. We got those good smokes. You step in that little magic box right there, we're going to walk out with a smile on your face.
So, the National Education Officer, what is that in layman's term for the listener, person watching? What do they take from that particular title?
National Education Manager just really means I'm the biggest cigar nerd in our company. And I have the fortunate responsibility of going out to the industry and training what people are and what they enjoy when it comes to tobacco.
Interesting. You mean employees? Are you talking about the employees?
The staff and consumers.
And consumers.
Absolutely.
Okay, because today we have a pairing today. Now, can you talk a little bit more about what was going on today here at the Cigar Lounge as far as the pairing? I noticed there were several wrappers in the particular box that we looked at. Can you explain that? I would love to go get the box. I'll show the listeners a little later what that box looks like. But can you explain to us exactly what was going on today with those different tobaccos?
Well, as you can see in this box, we put in 7 different tobacco leaves. Each cigar is made 100% of that varietal. So like you can see here that we've got the U.S. Connecticut shade. That U.S. Connecticut shade is the wrapper, the binder, and the filler all put into one cigar that was blended by myself. Now I really wanted to put together a kit that was really, you get to taste the flavors of what that U.S. Connecticut shade or Cameroon or even my favorite, the Sumatra, what that leaf has to offer. Now, the pairing part of it is what beverage really gets to go well with that wrapper leaf. Each wrapper leaf has its own distinguishable flavor profile, smoking styles that goes well with a beverage. So really, we're just saying this beverage goes well with this particular wrapper leaf. And the educational part of it is talking about kind of what that wrapper leaf, where it comes from, what it goes well with, and really why you might like that one.
Can you give us an example of what may pair pretty well with the Sumatra, in your opinion? What do you like to have with your favorite blend of that particular cigar?
It's only my opinion, but I mean, like a Sumatra. A Sumatran goes really well with like a Cabernet in a wine.
Okay.
Or in a softer style of a bourbon.
Softer style of a bourbon. For example,
I personally wouldn't go real big with the blends, because a red Zinfandel or a really hot bourbon, you're going to need something that brings up the level of the nicotine or the body level, strength level, but you also need a good flavor profile to back it up. So
okay.
That's why I say I wouldn't go with the Sumatra and then go with a really something big.
Okay. Now, if folks are interested, I'm curious to know, because this is a great experience, the great pairing. How would folks know in their area if you're going to be coming to their neighborhood? How can they kind of follow you and kind of find out what Altadis Cigars are doing, and they can have the same experience at their location, at their lounge?
Well, you can always visit us on our Facebook page, so the Cigar Lifer, or you can follow me on Instagram at What Is Travis Smoking on Instagram. We also have Instagram with the Cigar Lifer. That's our corporate sponsored Instagram page, where they can go through and say, hey, where am I going to be at? But the What Is Travis Smoking on Instagram, I like to post where I'm going to be and what I'm doing.
Okay. Now, how often do you get the chance to do this? To travel around, to actually sit down and conversate and educate the consumer? Is this every day? This is your job every day, pretty much? Or you are kind of at the office, you kind of got like a hybrid job. You base two places at once.
You ask where I'll be and how often I'm doing this? 365 days out of the year.
Oh, wow.
Minus the days my wife has a nice little family list that I do have to be back at home. So,
okay,
I get to fly around the country, around the world. And I do this in the Dominican, I do this in Nicaragua, I do this in Honduras. Teaching the manufacturers, the rollers, what they're rolling for. If you really think about it, if you took the global production of cigars from around the world and you divided that up, 2/3 of the cigars that are made around the world are bought and sold in the U.S. Honduras, Nicaragua, Dominican, they're rolling for us in the U.S. Cuba is rolling for everybody else around the world. So we have a dominant, a major effect on what we're rolling. And the Dominican people, the Nicaraguan people, the Honduran people, they roll for their country and what they represent.
Okay.
Honduras, Flor de Copan, God love you guys. But in Flor de Copan, they love what they're doing. They have a particular way they like to roll. But they don't understand who they're rolling for. So that's where I'll go in and actually teach them what the Dominican or what the U.S. people, why we buy and what we like to smoke in cigars. So now they can roll, they can blend for us, the U.S. consumers.
Now, that's an interesting statement there. So based on that statement as far as rolling for the U.S., what do you think the difference is between this market, the domestic market, and the market abroad as far as cigar smoking? As far as, do we like a stronger cigar? Do you think the domestic? Okay, so that may answer the question then. But I'll let you say it in your professional terms, that the U.S. are looking for more stronger cigars opposed to around the world globally, maybe a more milder cigar, like the Cuban.
I wouldn't say milder. We as a U.S. populace, we like to see where our limits are, right? We like to see where that cap is. We've met that cap in the form of the strength. We're now realizing there's a really good flavor profile in a medium body, or even in a mellow to medium body, or a medium to full body. We like to see where those extremes are, where the world market has been kind of stuck with the Cuban versions of the cigar. So they like a mellower, good flavored cigar, which I totally respect. But here in the U.S., we like to see where those extremes are and what those limits might be in cigars.
Okay, well, listen, man, I appreciate that, because I told you I wasn't going to hold you long. Is there anything else that maybe I didn't ask that you want the folks to know about the company, what's going on, or share some information, a little tidbit before I leave, make us all seem smart at the water cooler tomorrow. To say, hey, you know what? We know this about a cigar that I bet you didn't know. What can you tell us to make it seem smart?
You know, if you look at this cigar and somebody simply asks you why you like this thing, it's a hobby. It's something that we do thoroughly get to enjoy. So when you're smoking a cigar and that particular cigar is in your hand, if your buddy looks at you and says, you know, Bob, Larry, Steve, Sally, Karen, whatever, if they look at you and say, you know, you're smoking the wrong cigar, you can look at them and say, no, this is my cigar, my point in time where I get to enjoy something that is mine. I like this, and this is why. Your answer is right. Their answer may be right too for them. But go out there, enjoy a cigar that you really may love, and know that here at Altadis USA and with myself, when we're blending a cigar, we're blending a cigar for you. So we hope you really have got to enjoy a cigar that we put together. And if not, I'm sorry. I will continue to try, I promise.
But Travis, I appreciate you taking the time to have a little conversation with me, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for being a guest on Sport World.
And we thank you very much for watching. Please follow, like, all that stuff, and go out there and enjoy a really good cigar. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you, sir.